Get this here together. Try to get this set on up. Just shared this. Y'all got to forgive me. Let me see here. Make sure my internet working. My internet freeze on my end. So y'all have to forgive me. Internet be freezing. And forgive my little setup. Oh, they got a little light right here. Forgive my little setup. Working today. It's been a it's really been a little whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind for me as I've been moving around, working, going. It's what I was doing last week. Last week I had to fly to, what was it? Had to fly to South Dakota. Last week flew to South Dakota and spoke to a team. They had lost by 30 points in a game, and I talked to the coach, and they were flying into South Dakota to play a game, and I flew up there, talked to the team, because I've been working with them. This is my 4th season, and just want to stay active in their life. And, oh, now look at this here now. This young brother on the TV got a white daddy, got a black mama. The black woman, she got something on her now, because she part of y'all movement. She part of y'all divesting. Sister say, I'm gonna get me a old white man. Hey, I don't blame you. Go ahead. Go ahead, boy. I am not finna argue with y'all no more. If y'all want y'all a white man so bad, go right ahead. I'm married, so I can't tell nobody what to do. Then lady gonna tell me, lady gonna come in the comments, I think I blocked her. She talking my wife white. Cause I had my light on, my wife got in the car. And you know my wife, she is light skinned. But the thing about it is, when I met my wife in 2005, that wasn't a goal. My girlfriend that I was my fiance before my wife was my color, probably a shade darker. But she was a headache. She was a headache. She was of another religion. I broke up with her. And this brother here from Tennessee. Now his daddy is interesting because his daddy is real slim and tall. But then his mama looks shorter, with meat on the bones. And that look like an interesting couple. This is an interesting couple. That's to show you where love come in all different ways. I just would not see them together. And I guess that sister had that put that game on them. That's I got some of that black of that berry. This on ESPN. A young man played football for Tennessee. My brother went black and didn't go back. And so I went out there and I spoke to the team in South Dakota. The next day I flew back home and we had to go to California for a few days. And my son broke his wrist in his second game of the 3 games. He broke his wrist, but he got his cast on and he'll be able to start training again. But as soon as we flew back on a red eye, and we got in 6 or 7 that morning. Got home, got settled by 10 a.m. I went to sleep till about 1. And I had to speak to a team at 4:30. And when I went to speak to the team, it's a room of grown men, 18 to 24 or something like that. And I went to speak to these grown men. And as I was talking, one of my questions was, who has a girlfriend? one person, one player raised their hand that he has a girlfriend. And then I said, on the campus with you at this school. And he put his hand down. I said, y'all, none of y'all got a girlfriend? And that right there showed me something. See, this is why I try to tell people. This is why I try to tell people who try to argue with me in the comments. When you get in a room of 15 men, 15 to 18 men, and you are the speaker, and you get to poll the room, that's when you can argue with me in the comments. Because I'm in the trenches and I'm learning from real life. I'm not going on Google. This is what the non-blessed tribe members be in the comments arguing with me. I'm not going on Google and Googling stats. I'm going out and creating the stats. I'm going out and counting the stats myself. Because when you see this room of 15 to 18 men, they young now, but I had a girlfriend in kindergarten, and I said, now that's another thing about y'all generation that's different. I said that's another thing that's different. Y'all not looking for a wife. How is you grown and not have no girlfriend? I had a girlfriend in kindergarten. I remember having a girlfriend in third grade. I had a girlfriend in fifth grade. Girlfriend in sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade. Like, we grew up with girlfriends. In kindergarten, me and my friend, who was a black male, had us a young lady, and we sat on the outside row. We sat on the outside row, and now I ain't asked if they had no boyfriend. They weren't gonna admit that either now. And then based on the statistics, maybe one of them could be, one or two of them. But yes, but see, that's the thing. That's the thing today. And that's why I titled this, your relationship is gonna depend on your mindset. And this what I mean by depending on your mindset. What I mean by that is it is not a plethora of men that's out here looking for a wife, that's ready for a wife, that's chasing a wife. It's not a plethora of men. And the reason why it's going to depend on your mindset is because faith is going to play a part. Who you are and what you think you deserve, who you are and what you think you deserve, that is what's going to determine when and how you have a relationship. Because the days of it just being one person for every person, that's no longer. But one thing I know about it is that when you doing the work, when you doing the work on you, male and female, you doing the work, you're elevating, you're becoming desirable, you going into another realm. So you start to go into a realm of desirability. And the work is not easy. And the work is never done. I was talking to my wife today, and because I seen this thing about, gut health and how it affect your life. And it was like gut health is affecting men. A lot of men is they having a softer E. When I say E, y'all know what I'm talking about. When little Jimmy go to standing up, they E is softer because of their gut health is what they said, what the boy said on the podcast, AO podcast. And so I wrote my wife, not that she gonna tell me the truth. And I said, hey, now is things different since we met? She said, I haven't noticed a difference, but you ain't gonna get the truth. But that just reminded me to I still got to stay on my game. I still got to be working on me. And so here it is. You got so many single people, and you'll be single, and you'll be complacent. You'll be single and you'll be complacent. And the thing about it is we know God is a miracle worker. So we think we just expect a miracle instead of getting in position, instead of doing what we got to do. And that's the hard thing that we don't want to hear. So the thing about it is when we work on our mindset, when we work on our people skills, when we work on our personality, when we work on these things and we start to do the work, then we come to a place, and y'all gotta forgive me now because I'm filming today. I'm filming a show, but we on a little, I'm in between right now, so I ain't gonna be here long because I'm gonna have to get to filming. But filming right now, so y'all forgive me. We doing a TV show today. I'm gonna be filming till midnight, but I'm in between right now. So listen, when you take and you working on your personality, so here's the thing. People say, oh, well, it's not this and it's not that and it's not this. Everything come together. People say, oh, well, it ain't the body. Well, the body plays a part. Well, I see people got their body in on point, but they still ain't got nobody. It's cause their mind might not be right. The brain, the brand, the body. Joy just told y'all the three B's that I created. The brain, the brand, the body. So when you think about it, when you think about it, if I'm gonna use myself for example to help you understand this. If I was a single person, I done worked on my mind. Okay, that's the brain. I done worked on my mind. The brand, I done worked on my brand. Got a business, earning money. But then the body, my stomach ain't where I need it to be. I'm 200 to 205 pounds. I'm 5'10". I'm supposed to be about 180. So I technically, when you see me in clothes, you might say, well, Tony, you don't look bad. I don't look bad. I don't feel bad. But based on the height and the weight, I'm overweight. So that's my third B that I need to be working on. You see what I mean? Also with the body, I don't eat right. I just had my old nice burger. Had my old burger with some French fries. I probably should have had a grilled chicken salad. Earlier today for lunch, I had me some lamb chops. Had me some lamb chops and some spinach. I ain't eat the spinach. And for the appetizer, I had me some crab cakes. Eating out that sea. That sea dirty. The meat don't be right. So here I am, red meat. Red meat. Didn't eat my spinach. Now see, I'm married now. I'm married. But see, it's people eating just like me, and they single, and they say they want them somebody. And see, this is what you have to realize. Them three B's, when you get that mind right, brain, brand, body. When you get the three B's to where you know you are where you supposed to be, you say, okay, I done learned how to date. I've learned how to date. I know the red flags. I know what to look for. I'm educated, whether that's formally educated, and you need to be formally educated and self-educated. Formal education don't mean a degree. Yeah, you can have a degree, you can have multiple degrees, but what I mean is you need to know how to read and write. You need to know how to read, how to write, how to spell. Formally educated, you need to be self-educated. You need to be street smart. If you're not from the hood, you need to talk to somebody who from the hood. If you don't know how scammers work, how the game work, if you don't know what's going on out here, you need to watch Dirty John. You need to watch American Greed. American Greed come on the Peacock Network. Just watching American Greed, you're gonna learn so much about life. And so when you're doing this right here, now you're learning, you're growing. So That's the brain. You get the knowledge. The brand, you need to be gainfully employed. It's so many people, it's so many women write in and they say they're unemployed. And I do not understand it. Listen, listen. Uh, Walmart hiring, McDonald's hiring. Go work one of them places till you get that marketing job that you want. Because that's humility. That's going to instill some humility. Flipping them burgers. Start your own company. There was a guy who he is he has a few mental issues and he started his own company. And the man got several clients. There is no excuse. This man has mental issues and got his own company. There's no excuse to not have something, to not be doing something. You cannot be lazy. You got to have a brand. So get you a job. And then once you get you a job, then you can get you something that you cannot be fired from. Get you something you can't be fired from. And that's essentially what TonyGaskins.Academy.com is. It's a bunch of courses that's going to help you get on your feet. That's going to help you get things in order. That's essentially all it is. It's just me giving you the blueprint for pennies on the dollar. Because you got to understand, me doing what I do, I've earned millions of dollars. Right now, my coaching is $750 an hour. A lady wrote in, she said, well, I had a coaching session earlier for $400. Listen, yesterday's price is not today's price. I'm filming a TV show. My son's got to travel every week. I ain't got no time to give to nobody. So if I'm going to get on the phone with a stranger from online, it got to be enough money that I could sit there with a smile on my face as I'm taking away time from my wife and my kids and my business to talk to one person. Because when I get on the phone at $750, I'm losing money. I'm losing thousands of dollars while I'm talking to that one person. And so it's certain times to where when you want to go to certain levels, it's going to require more. And that's why I created my mentor.life. We got coaches for $25. Literally, we got coaches on my mentor.life for $25 an hour. So you can't walk in Chanel and tell them to give you Michael Kors prices. That ain't how that works. They're going to say, listen, if you can't afford this $8,000 bag, then you need to start with Michael Kors for $200-300 and work your way up. But don't come in here talking about, oh, your material the same in Michael Kors. Why you charging $8,000? You see what I'm saying? So don't come to me talking about, oh, why you charge this? It's because that's what I need to get on the phone. And if it's not affordable, I done created a solution for you that's affordable. And so understand that. But that's the brand. You got to build your brand. When I remember sitting with a TV show, I'm filming a TV show right now on the very network that turned me down before. And I went in there with another young lady who got TV shows on there. And the lady tried to little boy me. It was a white female. She tried to little boy me. So, well, our other coach who has a show, he can't be accessed. No one can work with him unless they're on the show. You're accessible. You do coaching sessions. She tried to make me feel like a peon because I'm accessible to the people. But that's actually frowned upon in Hollywood. Being accessible to the people is frowned upon in Hollywood. You're not big enough if people can touch you, if people can have a one-on-one session with you. And so the fact that I'm in Hollywood and I'm working in the industry and still accessible, it got to be a price with that. So that's what I want you to think about when you building your brand. You building something you can't be fired from. And so you got to have that. And then with your body, the body is something that it's going to represent longevity. It's going to represent health. It's gonna produce confidence. And listen, I'm not big on all the different, oh, you got to be vegan, you got to be pescatarian, oh, you shouldn't eat red meat. To each their own on that. You got to know what is right for you. People eat meat and live past 100 years old. Everybody body and genetics is not the same. Everybody that we from all different parts of the world. We all stem from Africa, but then we from all different climates and environments. You got to learn you, because one person diet will kill the next person. So you got to understand that. And so learn your body, do your blood work, and get your body where it need to be. Because I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. That's the one thing that I see the most when men and women come to me and they looking for somebody. They almost everybody get the brains and the brand, but very few people could get their body where they want it to be. Because to get your body where you want it to be, it is so difficult. It takes so much discipline. It takes so much discipline. Like, I could go work out for an hour a day and I could see changes in my body, but it's still way far from other guys that I see online. So I'm like, if I'm working out like this, if I got my own gym at my house and I could work out an hour a day and my body still, and I still ain't got no 8 pack, what in the world are you doing to have an 8 pack, 12 pack? Because when I used to have one, I ain't do nothing really for it. I just was an athlete. And so I say that that's the number one thing that I see is people eating habits and the way they treat their body. And that's the most painful part for us. And it's for everybody. It's across the board. And then a lot of people who got the perfect body is genetics. And then a lot of people who work for the perfect body and they earn it, a lot of them don't have a brand or they don't have the brains. So everybody, almost every human, 99% of humans you meet is deficient in one of the B's. When you look at brains, brand, and body, almost every human is deficient in one area. But that is why we are pursuing perfection, meaning be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. We know perfection is not attainable, but in the pursuit of it, Vince Lombardi said you're going to catch excellence. And so that's why this is important. And what's going to happen is you're going to, like, you're going to have people around you that's going to believe differently and do differently. They're going to move different. And when that's the case, you got to understand that. And sometimes you got to get a little separation. Sometimes you got to get a little separation. And sometimes you got to be able to walk alone. Sometimes you got to be able to do different than your mama do different than your daddy do. Somebody gave a little donation right there, but when I touch it, I can't bring it up. It won't let me bring it up for some reason. Look at Denise. And see, Denise telling the truth. She said, my body is in good shape because of genetics. I remember I met this girl on Twitter, a woman, and she was young, in her 20s, and she was selling an ab course, and she had abs. I could look at her and tell she was from that part of Africa that got abs. And when I wrote her, I said, hey, sis, would you say that your abs come from your workouts more or your genetics? And she said, Tony, I'm going to be honest with you, it's my genetics. She said, I really ain't do much for these abs. But being that I got them, I'm finna make me a course and I'm finna sell them. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's now, yes, it's people who get success who you don't think are attractive. But it's sometimes, a lot of times, people elevate based on how they look and based on how the world boxes their looks in. So you'll go on a job and you'll see somebody as a CEO or somebody in this position, and it's really because of their height. that height represent authority, or it's because of their smile, it's because of their look. And that don't mean they're not talented. That don't mean they don't have the gift, but that adds to it. And so when you understand that your packaging, how you present yourself, what you coming with, all of that plays a part. And that's how you separate yourself. So when you look and you see everybody doing one thing, so it's like this right here. I had to, when I was looking for a wife, I had to find my unique selling proposition. And what I noticed is every guy curse. So I stopped cursing. I didn't curse. Every guy drank. I didn't drink. Every guy smoked. I didn't smoke. And most guys did at least one of the three. So when a woman met me and I say, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't curse, that immediately separated me from 99.9% of the men she knew. And so I could be 5'10" instead of 6'4" and still get a woman because I had to separated myself. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. If every woman is getting lip filler and then you wear your natural lips, that's going to separate you. If every woman is getting a fake butt and you go and do squats instead of going to, you go to Dr. GYM instead of Dr. JIM, you go to Dr. Jim versus Dr. Jim, now a man say, oh, man, you different. So now when a man meets you and he said, wow, you're beautiful, but you as close to natural beauty as you could be. Like, yeah, you got on some lipstick. Yeah, you get your nails done. Yeah, you got your eyebrows done. Yeah, you got your weave in. Yeah, this and that, but you still, you still you. You enhancing you. You look beautiful as you. So now you're different. So then when you see everybody seeking attention and you got social media, but you posting empowerment, you posting quotes, you doing things differently, you not on there bent over showing your booty, you not on there posting a selfie every day. You might post your selfie once a week, but you ain't posting no selfie every day. You ain't thirst trapping, you're not seeking attention, but yet you're still carrying yourself well. Then people gonna look at you and say, oh wow, you're different. So you got to understand your uniqueness. And then it has to be a mindset. And this is the thing, what's happening. Today, whatever is negative is going to be heightened. Everything is negative is going to be heightened. And so you're going to get online and it's going to make you think that all black women need to leave black men alone and go to another race. It's going to make you think that all black men are leaving black women alone and going to another race. It's going to make you think that all men are trash. It's going to make you think that all women are trash. And the negative will be highlighted. Oh, she said, I missed why the players didn't have girlfriends. I only heard to elevate ourselves from there. I don't know why the players didn't have girlfriends, but the point I was making is that in this room full of men, none of them had a girlfriend. So what that says is we are moving into a time where marriage is going to be less and less because men not looking for no wife. And the women that get married to the men that get married, it's gonna be people who separate themselves from the pack. It's gonna be people who believe in marriage and who are doing the work to be married. It's going to be a situation, a case of many are called, but few are chosen. That's what we're getting ready to move into. So you got to, if you want to be married, you got to believe in marriage. You have to want marriage. You have to prepare for marriage. And here's the thing, what is available to you is not going to be available to the person next to you who is unwilling to do the work. So listen, it's a lot of people who look like they are marriage material. Like somebody showed me this. Somebody showed me this on the red table. They had the red table. Now they can't bring me on the red table if they done looked up my videos, cause I done talked about Jada and August Alsina, and I probably done talked about Will, and cause I always call it down the middle. But they had the red table did a talk, and they had a single man, another single man, another single man, and another. They brought in a bunch of single men to talk about how to get in a relationship. And one of them say he in a beautiful relationship. Where she at? Where she at? I ain't seen her. Where she at? And I say, so now guess what? That got millions of views. It's gonna get millions of views. So now you got single men, and they had one woman on there. And it's like, for one, you shouldn't have that many men talking about no relationship, because men don't know what they be talking about. And you shouldn't have that many men. And if you do have a man, he need to be married, he need to be faithful, and he need to have been married for over 10 years. Not no single man telling you about no relationship that he ain't been able to make work. But that's what they had. But see, me, I call it like it is. I'm too real for the industry. Because see, when the devil out there, because see, them people, a lot of people in the threesomes, a lot of people in the witchcraft, a lot of people in the open relationships, a lot of people into divorce, a lot of people into cheating, a lot of people into playing with God's name. They play with God's name. A lot of people want to pray online, but then don't want to live it. Then don't want to really have the discernment that God gives us. And so for me, that's why I have to be in my own lane, because I'm too real to associate and assimilate in a lot of ways, because I see through the mess. I see through the bull. And we in a society of it's just about having fame and just having money. But people don't really believe in God. They say God, but they don't really believe in God. They don't really live for God behind closed doors. God ain't really evident in their life. They being elevated. So many people being elevated by Satan to make a mockery of God. So what the devil does is he makes the connections and he opens the doors for the people who saying Lord, Lord, but really ain't living for God behind closed doors, because he know eventually they gonna embarrass, that they gonna put shame on the name of the Lord because of the lifestyle they live in, and he know they gonna get exposed. So the devil taking blessed people. It's a snare, but they call it a blessing. And so that's what you have to understand. That's what's going on. So it was people at me and said, y'all should have brought Tony on. Y'all should have brought Tony on. But that make too much sense. That make too much sense. They're not finna bring somebody on that has a conservative message. They're not gonna bring somebody on that believes in marriage, that believes in faithfulness, that believe in men and women being married together and starting a family and living a godly lifestyle. They're not gonna bring that on. They need people who gonna water down and bite their tongue and say God but live like the devil. Say God but be in the divorce court instead of using the power of God to heal their marriage. Instead of using the power of God to choose the right wife, to choose the right husband. They want somebody that's gonna placate. They don't want the real. And so that's part of the issue. And for me, I don't care about the money. I don't care about biting my tongue to be friends with people and to be associated and to be clicked up and linked in, because God got me. God got me, and as long as God got me, then God got my family. And my family is fed, and they fed well. And we live well without the associations, without the cliques, without the team, without all of that, because God is sufficient. And so that's what y'all got to understand is we living in a world where there's going to be so much sacrilege, and we living in a time where it's going to be so much tomfoolery being pushed to the masses, that it's so many people that don't know what they talking about being given a platform, that it is destroying love and relationships. It's destroying love and relationships, and they doing it intentionally. They doing the devil's work intentionally. And what you have to understand is it's a lot of people playing with God. Because even God tell the Pharisees, the Bible, in the Bible it tell the Pharisees, don't be out here praying on the street corner. Like the Pharisees pray on the street corner because they want clout. Go in your closet in prayer. Pray in your closet and you'll be blessed publicly. That's why you don't see me online praying on reels. But there's so many people posting prayers on as reels and placating as a Christian, but their lifestyle looking like hell on earth behind closed doors and playing with the Lord. And then nobody want to speak the truth because everybody want to click up. Everybody worried about romance and connections and alliances when I'm worrying about righteousness. And so that's why my message is going to be different. And that's why I'm not finna tell people to leave your people. Meaning, like it was places in the Bible, throughout the Bible, where it told, where people were told, don't marry somebody from this country or from this place. And the reason being is because it was too different. It was, the cultures was different, the beliefs was different. And if you notice, there was people in the Bible who, when they married certain women, they started worshiping other gods. They started moving differently because the woman didn't believe in God, the Almighty. And so that's why I'm never going to promote divesting, because you could be going into something you don't even know what you, and that's just not from, I'm not just talking about from black to white, but I ain't finna be telling white people to go find somebody black, because that could cause you more pain and heartache, because although your partner may accept you, their family might not accept you. Their kids might not accept you. Their religion may be different. So you just can't go and just jump ship because you've been hurt. Because we all been hurt. And we all gonna continue to be hurt. And so this is what we have to understand. And we be so ready to turn on our own, but ain't nobody else turning on their own. And we act like we can't get right. We act like we can't do right. But the other people also know their deficiencies and know their inadequacies and know that in order to get right, they got to stick together. We so quick to just down each other and just run away from each other, and understand that's what the plan was. That's what the whole plan was. The whole plan was to divide and conquer. The whole plan was, listen, we got to divide this group of people because together they too strong. Together they too smart. Together they gonna rise to power. Like when you look at, Martin Luther King said in that speech that from the time you wake up to the time you leave, you have depended on the creations of black people. Like when you look at everything that we use, majority of what we use in the house was created by a black man or woman. Then the reason why is because adversity breeds creativity. So black people was put in place to build America. And so when you placed in the home to take care of a household and to take care of somebody else's kids, you got to come up with a hairbrush, with a hair comb, with shoelaces. So black people invented so much stuff, everything, and it was stolen from them because it's still happening today. Black people still innovative today. The guy who Elon Musk basically owed Tesla too. One of them guys is a black man. And so you have to understand that the goal is to divide and conquer. Because if you can come together, now you can build. Because you got so much smarts, you got so much strength, your people to overcome so much adversity, so much pain, that if y'all realize your strength, you gonna be, oh man. And so I was watching a commercial today. I can't remember if it was Bosley, the hair company, or somebody, and they showed a black man. They showed a black man, and the commercial was something about some confidence for men. I think, oh, it was a hair color. See how I got these grays? I think it was a hair color. So they showed a black man. He walk up to the bar, the spit a little game to white women. This 2022. Now the company gonna say they trying to show that they not racist, but that's also sending a message. That's sending a message because they very intentional about the messages. That's why in the commercial they always got the black person doing something crazy, like Golden Corral. They got the Golden Corral commercial with the black family. Come on now. Y'all know we already dying from diabetes. Y'all know we already got hypertension, high cholesterol. I sat down on the machine the other day, the thing said I had high blood pressure. I said, man, this machine broke. But my wife got down there and said her blood pressure normal. Y'all know we already dying. Why Golden Corral? Somebody, y'all work at Golden Corral, write your CEO, write your president. Put an Asian family on there. Put a white family on there. People want to market and use media, and they want to use white people for every single commercial in the world. But then when you got nasty Golden Corral with all of these calories, all this grease, all this lard, you want to use the black family. And then the man that they use 300 pounds. And they're getting the attitude with his family because they don't understand how great Golden Corral is. And it's like, brother, it's like, listen, all of y'all, I understand y'all want to be actors. I understand y'all want to be actors. Let your let your agency know you gonna pass on this one, on the Golden Corral commercial. And they probably had some people pass on it. But then here go these folks. They want to get in there and keep the narrative going. He want to get his 300-pound butt on there. Y'all don't understand the greatness of this crispy fried chicken. I say, boy, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And after I said something about the commercial where they had the two black men kissing, now they gonna change the commercial. A different one gonna have a black man and a white man kissing. I'm like, listen. You telling us the commercial is about AIDS. You showing us gay men. We get it. You telling the gay men, for one, they stereotyping gay men and they saying y'all carrying the AIDS virus. Y'all is the ones passing HIV. Y'all is the one carrying that. For one, that's what the commercial's saying. They showing gay couples, but then they show them kissing. And it's like, bro, we don't need to see that. Cause my 8-year-old son don't want to see a man and woman kiss. If he grossed out by a man and woman kissing, what the world you think he gonna feel if he watching the game and then he see two men kiss? He's just gonna be flabbergasted. But today, that's what they teaching in the schools. They teaching this what you want. Let your son, put your son in a dress. Paint your son nails. Let your son be a woman if he want to be a woman. But they teaching that because the adversary's goal is to weaken society. It's just like when you look at the Marvel movies. A lot of people don't look at the Marvel movies. When you look at the Marvel movies, them people is geniuses who wrote that Marvel and DC comics. They show you an evil person who all the evil person want to do is destroy the entire world. And it's like, what is the point of that? You just want nobody to be here? You want to be here by yourself? or this thing that you create and it's gonna take you out too. So what is the point? Why don't you want anybody to exist on the planet? And it's because the person be mad, they be angry, something to happen to them. But that's the goal of the adversary. So the adversary is gonna push narratives that's basically 50 years from now, 50% of the couples is going to be same-sex couples. But what that's going to do is that's going to reduce the population by so much, because 50% of the couples going to be same-sex couples, and the other 50% going to be heterosexual couples, but they're going to be having kids for themselves. And then they're going to have kids for the same-sex couples. But then when the same-sex couples have a child from somebody else, now that child grows up seeing a same-sex couple as a norm. So now that child grows up and gets in a same-sex couple, and now got to go borrow sperm or borrow an egg as well. But it's gonna get to a point to where it ain't enough sperm and egg to borrow, because it's gonna be the tide gonna be the shift. Because a child, just like anybody, just like the animals, and just like all mammals, you have to be imprinted. So if a little boy is not told this is how you dress and this is the color, blue is for boys, pink is for girls, then what's going to happen is little boys, when you leave them to themselves, they pick purple, they pick pink, they pick glitter, because they pick what grab the eye. And then if you tell them, and I let my son get it because he's so young, I'm not finna put that in his head, but if you tell them, oh, you could wear a dress, and you could put on heels, put on your mama heels. That little boy don't realize that the feelings he feeling is because of how he being raised. So he gonna associate and say, I felt like a female from a child. But he don't realize, what he doesn't realize is he felt like a female from a child because his dad was not there, or his dad was so busy that he was always with his mom or a female nanny or stepmother, and he saw them putting on nail paint, he saw them putting on heels, he saw them putting on panties, he saw them putting on bras. So that's what he gravitated toward. That was his imprinting. But then we will say, oh, he was born that way. No, he was raised that way. And this is what I try to tell y'all. I don't look at statistics. I look at real life. I go and talk to the people. I go and talk to the man. So yeah, I talked to a lesbian woman, and she said to me, I talked to two different lesbian women who present themselves masculine. One of them said to me that her dad wanted boys, so he raised her and her sister like boys. So doesn't it make sense that if she was raised like a boy, she presents masculine as a grown woman, and now she dates women? Don't that make sense? Do it sound like she was born that way, or do it sound like she was raised that way? She said, my dad wanted boys, so he treated me like a boy, he trained me like a boy, he dressed me like a boy, he raised me like a boy, so I identify as a boy. Then I met another woman. She said, I had to assume the role of a man because my father left. So I became the man of the household, but I'm a woman. And I'm a woman and I want to be treated like a woman, but I present as masculine because I had to become masculine because my father was not there. So when you actually talk to the people and you hear their upbringing, you hear their life, then you see, oh, this was your imprinting. And then you'll see people, boys, men who come from places like where I come from, and who come from places like where I come from, and we may be the furthest thing away from being a gay man, but when you hear our stories, it's because the adults said to us when we were children, you better not be gay. You better not be like no man. You better not do that. So it almost, a lot of people was raised homophobic because of the shame when it wasn't accepted. The mothers and fathers didn't want their child to be the outcast. So they scared them into, they couldn't even look at their same gender, almost in a friendly way. And so when you start to talk to people, see what we go and do is we think we so smart, we want to get on Google and Google statistics. Man, listen, you got a job. You know what you do on them people job. You on them people job watching YouTube. We be on people jobs stealing all kind of money. And then we gonna all of a sudden believe the statistics when we get on Google. Oh, 60% of such and such. Them people pulling numbers out they behind. Them people sitting there, oh, shoot. I ain't even passed the survey out. Man, I ain't gonna send this survey out. I'm gonna put them people up there Christmas treeing them surveys. And then people want to get in the comments. So smart, they know it all because they done Googled a statistic. Talking about Pew Research. Lady gonna come in the comments. Pew Research says, she said, Tony, black men have given up on black women. According to Pew Research, I say, ma'am, what is Pew Research? And what black man do you know filling out a survey from a company? We is raised as black men to not trust the government, to not trust a doctor, to not trust a police, to not trust our brother. We saw Cain kill Abel. We not filling out surveys. I ain't filled out a survey in my life. And I'm an upstanding citizen. So what surveys is y'all reading? If a man don't want no girlfriend, he definitely ain't filling out no survey. We barely know how to write a check talking about fill out a survey. And where's these surveys at? Oh, well, Pew Research walked around the country and they just counted out the black men that had a white woman. So that's how they got the research. Tony Gaskin. And then the lady said Pew Research said that 15% of black men date outside their race. I felt like, I said, ma'am, 15%? So 1.5 out of 10 date outside his race? And in that 15%, half of them bums that the black women don't even want them because they scamming. The half of them is half white, so they ain't really dating outside their race because their mama white. And then the other ones was raised in a white neighborhood. So when he talked to a black woman who was raised in a black neighborhood, she go to snickering. Oh, you talk so good. Oh, you talk good. Say that again. Where you learn how to talk like that? So he feels so ashamed and insecure, talking so proper, he got to go date outside his race. But it's like 15%, listen, 15% of us, 15% got AIDS, 15% missing a toe, 15%, that's such a small percentage. I'm like, 15%, you ain't even say 30%. Like, okay, I'm gonna be worried when you say 60% of black men is dating outside their race. Then I'm gonna be like, okay, it's something in the water. 15%, that's the luck of the draw. Like that's expected. Everybody not gonna like the same thing. I bet you 15%, of black women date outside their race. It's like, okay, we humans. Humans like different things. But that don't mean that the black race done, as a whole, done given up on each other. That black men done gave up on black women, and black women done gave up on black men. And this why I say, somebody say, oh, I know a lot of black men with a white woman. Yeah, we all know a lot, but it's millions of people. So congratulations for being able to identify 10 black men that got a woman outside their race. That don't mean a black man that gave up on a black woman. Because what black men that gave up on, more so than anything, is ourselves. Look at our rap music. Look at our fashion. Look at the way we don't hold our brothers accountable. If anything, we done gave up on ourselves. But when you go down the line and you go down into your community, hey, they be getting to me now. Lundy said, don't let them get it. Yeah, they be getting to me. They don't be getting to me. It just be, I be appalled at the ignorance. I be appalled at the peanut gallery. I be appalled at just the pessimism. I'm like, you on the channel of a Christian man. The Bible say walk by faith. The Bible say death and life is in the power of the tongue. And so never come to my page expecting to hear doom and gloom with no hope. Never come on my page expecting to hear divest, hate your own, and go to another race. Never come on my page to hear that. I'm always going to believe the best. I'm always going to believe the good. You know why? Because I'm living it. Because I see what God could do. I know what's possible. I know what we got going on. I know what the adversary up to. I know what's going on. Hey, I was planning to be on here 30 minutes. So listen to me. If you, this a page that I taught the singles to prepare singles for marriage, but I'm also talking about marriage. Somebody say, talk about marriage. Everything I'm talking about is about marriage. Because all of this right here, you still doing it in marriage. And it take it to stay married. So it ain't just about singles getting married. It take all of this to stay married. And so this is what we have to realize and understand. That I'm always gonna be pro-black. Pro-black don't mean anti-white, anti-Asian, anti-Hispanic. Pro-black mean I love myself. And people say, oh, well, your wife light skinned. My wife mama is black. She my color. My mama is black. She my wife color. My wife daddy ancestors come from Jamaica. I mean from India. That's why she got that skin color. My sister, who is my color, got hair to her butt. People don't think that black women could have hair to their butt. And if she mix, she's still this color. So when she step out, ain't nobody saying she white, ain't nobody saying she Asian. They saying that's a black woman. And black people come in all kind of colors. And I'm gonna tell you now, it's one thing that does bother me. It's one thing that does bother me. And I think that it's part of the media. And I love my wife, but I hate that we're a part of that statistic. Because for me, it was not the intention. So when I met my wife, I was 21. And we didn't have social media, so I wasn't programmed by social media. And at 21, I said I was looking for a wife, but I really was looking for one night stand. So my girlfriend before my wife is a black woman. She my color, but even her got Indian and white in her, but she my color. A lot of us got something else in us, even as black people, because we come through slavery. And it was always a white man that had to dip his stick in the blackberry juice. So a lot of us got something in us if you come through America. And even in a lot of the islands, it's a lot of mixing going on because the British, the French, the European, the Spaniards, the people in power, was stealing Africans, was buying Africans, or stealing Africans and buying Africans for slavery, but they gonna dip they stick in there. Cause men are adventurous. If you finna get on a little raggedy boat in 1400s, you finna get on a boat and you finna take on the seas and the oceans, and you watching people die in these storms out in the ocean. If you got the gusto to get on a boat and to go out in the ocean before technology, before the advancements, you piecing together some wood and you finna get in the ocean, you not telling me that you not finna sleep with one of these black women on this here boat. A lot of the black women that was on these boats as slaves got off pregnant. We ain't talking about that though. But then America put us in, not America, but the slave system put us into colorism. Colorism is a thing everywhere in the world. When you go around, you see that darker is always seen as worse in 90% of the world. But we don't want to tell the truth about this stuff. And when you look at this, I do not like the fact that so many darker skinned women is being overlooked and being seen as less than because of the colorism in our world. That thing bothered me. Me and my wife done fell out about it before. She was like, go get a dark skinned woman in. You want to be an activist? She ain't say it like that because she don't yell. She was like, get a dark skinned woman in. I'm sorry. I didn't choose my color. And but listen, I thought you was Puerto Rico. I thought you was a Puerto Rico and I was coming for a one night stand. I was coming for a one night stand and then you turned out to be a wife. I ain't say it like, I said it seriously, but not seriously. But honestly, that's what me now, married going on 16 years, people lump me in with the men who are choosing a light skinned woman as a fad, as a trend. It wasn't a trend when I did it in 2005 when I met my wife. It wasn't a trend. Yes, it was happening and it was happening, but in my circle, it wasn't a trend. For me, I wanted to play with a Hispanic instead of a black woman. So I thought my wife was Hispanic. But when I sat and talked to her and found out that she had everything I wanted in a wife, I was elated when she told me she was Jamaican. Because I said, yes, I get credit for being with a black woman then, being that you Jamaican. Because me, where I'm from, we just picture Jamaican as dark skin with locks. We call them dreads. But now y'all mad about that. We so sensitive. Tony Gasson, it is not dreads. Because dread means dreadful. It is locks. I'm like, well, excuse me. Excuse me. I didn't name it. I ain't name it. I just thought it was called dread. We call it dread. And then my homeboys used to say, I'm wick. Which, to my mind, short for wicked. So I'm like, okay, wicked and dreadful. I get it. I get why we calling it locks now. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Lock, sister, twist. I'm like, all right. You can have that. My bad. I ain't mean nothing. And so I was like, yes, I'm going to get credit for being with a black woman. But it does sicken me to my stomach to see so many black men go out and intentionally choose a woman based on skin color. And it stems from self-hate. A lot of it stems from self-hate. Now, at the same time, what I want you to understand is, and this is why I say it's important to do your own research. For brown skinned women, dark skinned women, whatever term you use, I don't want you to beat yourself up and feel less than. You got to understand that you're beautiful, and you got to understand that there's power in your beauty. And you got to understand that truthfully, everybody is enthralled with you, and some people intimidated by you because of what your melanin represents. So you got to understand that. And that's why white women getting a tan, and that's why light skinned women getting tans too. And to the point that now they got tanning lotions that you just rub on, tanning oils, and it just give you a darker color, rubbing it on. And people trying to get darker. And the bodybuilders, they get spray painted dark. They get up there, white people getting up there looking like they're black people because it make the muscles pop more. So you got to understand this. But if you let it beat you up and you walk around with your lip turned up, now you're going to look ugly. Now you're going to look like what some people try to stereotype you as. So you got to understand your beauty and believe and love that beauty and teach your children to love that beauty of their melanin. And I despise the fact that we got so many black men in this day and age where we seeing the propaganda of the media choosing women based on their skin color. And I seen yesterday, they showed this black guy, he had a white woman. It was a soccer player. Then they showed another soccer player, I think his name was Rashford. He had a white woman. And then I think they showed one more soccer player who had a white woman. And the reason why it bothered me is because I felt like I could see that those guys chose those women because of their race, not because it was an organic meeting. And here's the thing. If your race is disadvantaged, love is not found, love is created. So if your race is disadvantaged, why would you take your wealth and give your wealth to a race that already got wealth, knowing that love is found, not created? Now, if you just happen to fall in love with somebody of another race, then that's cool because it's an organic meeting. But if you deliberately go out and choose another race because of their race and because you see them as superior, that's sad. That's sad. And I'm gonna tell you, I had a white girlfriend in high school, and when I saw my little homeboy who had a white daddy and a black mama write his essay, and he said he felt like an Oreo, I broke up with my white girlfriend because I understand that love is created, love is not found. So I say, yes, I'm talking to this white girl, but I also could be in love with a black girl. And if this what my child gonna have to go through, I can't do this to my child. That was back then. They say we in a new day now. It's more normal. It's more accepted. I get it. I'm not a racist person. But what I am is I'm not about pain. And I'm not about operating from pain and trauma and causing pain and trauma. And it's very sad now today that there are black men and women choosing people of another race because they feel inferior, because they feel their race is inferior and they feel another race is superior. Not because it's an organic meeting and falling in love, but it's literally coming from an inferiority complex. And that's sad. That's sad. And if you know that that's you and you feel inferior and you choosing another race because you feel inferior, you choosing to marry out your race because you think another race is better than your race, you need therapy. You need therapy. You need therapy. Because we have to learn to love ourselves. And that's what's sickening me today with the amount of black men that's choosing a woman in 2022 just based on complexion. It's just sad. It's sad to see. And It bothers me a lot of days because I'm like, man, if I know this was going to become a trend and if I know it was going to be weaponized, then I would have moved differently. And that's hard to say because of when you have real love. And it's sad that we in a we in a place to where we can't love who we love because it's people who choosing to love out of self-hate. So then if a black guy meet a white woman and they genuinely in love, they genuinely the perfect couple, he all of a sudden frowned upon because of the many black men who choosing a white woman from an inferiority complex, and vice versa. And that's what's sad. But here's the thing, and this is another thing too, and we need some change on this in the modeling industry. But if you notice, the modeling industry chooses black women who are black in the sense of, but they're not choosing all shades of black women. They choosing black women who the color of this remote control. And that's a beautiful color, but it's many shades of black. But they choosing the black, and this is the thing about it. They choosing the black that they used to put in those movies, the Sambo movies. Although that's a beautiful black and we know it's beautiful as black people, we know how the fashion industry views black. And they choosing that black. And the reason why they choosing that black, and if you notice the fashion industry, they choose black, 12:59 a.m. black, and they choose 6 p.m. white or 6 a.m. white. If you notice the modeling industry, the high fashion, you either got to be pale or you got to be black. They ain't doing in between. And so now they ain't even trying to celebrate the shades of black. They trying to choose a color that don't compete with their clothes. They want you to be a canvas. And so, but the thing about it is they can't make all of them rich. So they take and make, 10 to 20 of those black women and those black men rich. But if you look at the high fashion and the big fashion brands, you don't see black men that look like me. And you don't see black women that look like the black women you see. You see black men that look totally different. And it's because they don't want to really showcase black beauty in all its forms. They almost try to make a mockery. And they almost try to have an inside joke to where what we know and see as beautiful, they don't see it as beautiful. They see it as this art. Let me use this for art. And but yet, even though they using the black women, the dark skinned women in the high fashion, that's still not making black men choose women of that skin color because of the mental ideologies that we've been forced to believe about dark complexions. And so now a lot of black men are choosing a woman who is light skinned or exotic or white from a complex. And it's a choice. It's not organic love. And that's sad. That's sad. And then it's going to be too late 50 years from now when you want your color just out of self-love and pride when you want your color to still exist, but your color is no longer because of choosing from inferiority or hate instead of organic love. And so if the amount of men that chose another race based on organic love, it still would be enough men in every race to preserve their race. But when men choosing from inferiority, it's uh it's not good. And a lot of people, a lot of black people have been made to hate their race and don't even know it. Don't even realize it. It's a lot of black people who watch Fox News. I used to watch Fox News to get me a laugh because they were so blatantly racist that it was comical to me. I'm like, am I hearing this tone and this narrative? But it's black people that watch Fox News for enjoyment and they feel at home and don't even realize that half of the anchors on there do not like black people. But it's a lot of people that have been made to hate themselves and don't even realize it. And want to be of another race because of the pain they felt in their race without understanding why there's pain in their race, in their culture. And this is for all races and cultures, but for the most part, but I'm speaking as a black man. And I'm gonna tell you something. And see, I study real life because now I got family members on my wife's side and on my side, black women who have white men. But like I told y'all, when you look at it, when you really look at it, what's happening is the black women who don't feel appreciated by black men are partnering with white men who don't feel appreciated by white women. And so that is more so organic because we go where we're celebrated. But when you can be appreciated by your race and you choose another race because of an inferiority complex, that's an issue for your therapist. And that's what we're not addressing. So I'm okay with the go where you celebrate it. I've seen black women date black men and they are taken advantage of, they mistreated, they cheated on, and then they meet a white man and he treat them like the world is their oyster. Guess what, sister? You need that white man. You deserve that white man. I commend you for being with that white man. Because if the brothers won't appreciate you, if they won't take you serious, if they don't vibe with you, then by all means, go where the love is. But now when we just deliberately choosing because of self-hate, I want you to address that. And I want you to look around. And I've been looking around and I see it. I just seen a black and white couple get together. The black woman, she very, very light skinned. She went to private school. She speaks very proper. She went to Ivy League school. Wasn't a whole lot of black guys there. She happened to bump into a white guy. She tried to push him away, but he stayed there, bringing her food, looking out for her, therefore. He's not ideal. It's not a single white woman that want him. But he see this young lady with color. He getting no praise from his own race. He getting no play from his own race. And he there for this black woman. Boom, boom. He there. But when the black woman try to date black men, she get played with. And she ain't got time for games because of where her goals is. So what she do? She choose love. And by choosing love, she ain't choosing a physique. She ain't choosing a look. She choosing a heart. And that's why I try to tell everybody, if we choose by the heart, then our relationship landscape will look totally different. But we don't choose by the heart. We choose by statistics. We choose by preferences. We choose by likes and dislikes. We don't choose by character. We don't choose by heart. So we don't care who anybody loves if it's chosen for the right reason. If it's chosen from a place of self-love. If it's chosen from a place of love and not from a place of self-hate. We don't care who anybody loves. We'll let the chips fall where they may. But in order to figure out what's what, you first got to love yourself. So, hey, I got to talk tonight. I got to get back to filming. Got to filming this TV show. Y'all gonna see it soon. Probably next year, Lord willing. Never know. Can't really say the name or nothing, talk about it till it air, cause you just never know with stuff like this. But I want to wearing my voice out. But hey, God bless y'all. If you didn't get to see this, listen back to it. I ain't mean to be on here. I thought I'd be on here 30 minutes, but I was waiting on the production to call me and tell me when I'm gonna be getting ready to film. Oh yeah, we real late. Oh, we real late. That's one thing I'm gonna tell y'all about TV now. Because I'm filming this TV show. One thing I'm gonna tell y'all about TV, reality TV in particular, it is something. It is not for the faint of heart. You got to be emotionally intelligent. If you'll go off, if you'll snap, if you get ruffled feathers easy, you can't do TV. Boy, look at here. Somebody said it, hurry up and wait. Man, when I tell you that thing so real, I'm like, my goodness. Can y'all do one thing on time? ain't had, you ain't, I've been doing TV and doing like little shoots and pilots for 10 years now. And I ain't never had one go the way it's supposed to go, the way the paper says it's gonna go. And I ain't knocking it. It just is what it is. But I'm just telling you, sometimes people be wanting stuff and be wishing for stuff and don't even be realizing what they be asking for. Don't even be realizing what they be asking for. But hey, God bless y'all. We'll talk soon. Listen back to this. Get this in your spirit. And one thing I want you to realize when you listen to this, one thing I want you to realize is I ain't gonna tell you no lies. And what I say, you could take it to the bank because because I'm paying attention right here in the trenches. I'm really boots on the ground. I'm really looking at real life. I ain't reading statistics on Google. I'm looking at real life. So I want you to understand that and get that in your life. And what I want you to start doing is going and doing your own statistics. Go around and look at everybody you know, everybody you work with, and look at their story. Look at their history, look at their biography, look at their relationship status, who they married to, then get the backstory on how they met that person, how they married, and then start to understand that if you want love, love is out there for you. You just got to become love. If you looking for love, you won't find it. If you chasing love, it will elude you. But if you become love, it will surround you. And that's a work in progress. And that's the work that you got to be committed to. Hey, God bless y'all. We'll talk soon. I'm up here losing my voice cracking on me, cutting out on me. So we'll talk soon.